sequel to the inaccurate Civil War movie, The Civil War 5, World War II. In the distant future year of 1945, after decades of Cold War and standoff with the Communists of Russia, Russia staged an attack on America's ally, Japan. Not wanting another country to fall to communism, President Rasputin, who was elected for being a holy man and having the support of both Presidents Robert E. Lee and Jesse James, sends help. The Soviets retaliate and nuke part of America, Oregon. Realizing a war was about to happen, President Rasputin forged a collaboration with the surviving countries of World War I, and they launched a combined assault on all sides of the USSR. After much battle, they crushed the Soviets. But just as the Soviets fell, the Chinese nuked the area of Russia that had the most Allied soldiers in it. China had been turned communist and plans to take over the rest of the world or die trying. The collaborators tried to bring down China through the Russia tactics, but China just nuked the area the troops were fighting each time they started to lose. With over 1 billion people, losing a few million per battle was acceptable if it took down a higher percent of the good guys' forces. America decided to take things up a notch and gave nukes to surviving countries such as Poland, France, and Australia. They coordinated a gang nuke plan to all nuke China at once, but when the time came, France and Australia betrayed America and nuked Ukraine and India. China was still lingering. Turns out the surviving Englishmen from World War I had gone off to other countries to prepare to take them over before England was nuked. They wormed their way into power and used anti-American propaganda to turn the people against the country that was fighting for their freedom. The game plan had changed. Poland, Italy, and Germany took down France, while Canada, who was neutral throughout the whole war, was coerced into joining the war from a heartfelt plea by President Rasputin, and they took on the deviant country of Australia. Australia was founded by Brits, too evil even for England, so the people were like a modern-day Sodom and Gomorrah with their inbreeding, interspecies romance, and cannibalism that was worse than even the Union. Realizing that the Australians were too savage and horrid to take on in a fair fight, he saw that he needed the satellite cannon in space, but it was worn out from years of underuse. Seeing how he needed a miracle, he prayed to the Lord for help. His prayer was heard, and the angels repaired the satellite cannon in space, allowing it to fire and burn a hole clear through the Earth's crust in the heart of Australia, causing a massive magma eruption that caused Australia to collapse into the sea from the lava under it coming out. The war was over, and the world was at peace, although it came at a high price of many countries being nuked. Leading the Reconstruction, President Rasputin became the most loved world leader in American history. He lived to 120 and survived being shredded by gunfire of an assassin, among other things, and passed the reins of power to the next president, Alexei, the Tsar's son, who was later known by his nickname, President Reagan. Really excellent American, good and nice, who led the greatest American time in history, the 1980s and 1990s. Rasputin is played by a really beefy manly wrestler, and Kaiser Wilhelm is still leader of Germany until he turns 120 and lets his son lead the next era. What's left of China was later destroyed by a blast from the satellite cannon in space to prevent a return by the recovering forces that survived the first assault.